Let's meditate. To me, meditation is like finding the core of who I am, and it's more than relating to it, ultimately melting into it. So nothing left, no thought, no self, and just be. Absolute state of being. In the last week, I had some difficulties with the MacBook Air by Apple. And just yesterday, to the point that all the desktop files are gone. I have worked with the Apple support people 3 times. We had an appointment, but they didn't show up. But today I found that they are working on it without telling me. Because I called to find out what's going on. So that's a positive sign. Instead of me left behind, not knowing what's going on. Related to that, I posted videos about no pain, no gain. The point of that is that as a living being, we go through stresses, difficulties to overcome, whether it could be a food or some danger. We have to find a way. So if we think we have money or fame, that may be okay. But in my view, living being goes through various hurdles. And I remember when I was young, I think it was Pascal writing the book called Pensées, the Thought Pieces. In there, I remember the sadness of being a king or some such title, where if you have everything, but if you are not satisfied with having everything, there's nowhere to go. And it's a real sadness or something of that nature. For some reason, I could relate to that. One example is facing death. Whether you have money or fame, it doesn't exclude you from facing death or getting sick or stumble into some accident. So there's nothing guaranteed except for a living being, death may be. AI may say, well, we are working on it to extend your life. Theoretically, it may be feasible. But even astronomers, they say that the sun will die eventually after so many billion years. Or even galaxy may hit Andromeda what's the name of that? Say when galaxy next door. So considering those and having lived 77 years, I found the core of a being is like an eternal self, eternal home. In my case, I can relate to that. But even with an experience like that, when suddenly desktop files gone, I think of the impact and be concerned how much time and energy is needed to process it. So like that example, nothing is guaranteed. Some say except death. So this may have been the millions of years long problem, maybe tens of thousands of years, I don't know, as much as we found us out of the Garden of Eden and start to use brain, logic, words, and then start to compare A and B, life and death, health and sickness. We found this brain as a tool to help navigate our life. So how to use the brain is the question, not to be used by the brain. So we have to know how to not to be used by the brain. And to answer that question, brain cannot. It's beyond a brain's capability. It's like an AI. AI may say anything they want, but they don't feel pain. How about our brain? Brain won't anything, but will they get that or not having pain by using the brain? It's the opposite. If we don't use the brain, or actually it is not to be used by the brain, and find a stable core. From that we can see the brain. So we know what we are doing, and that's the awareness. Of us being able to see how our brain is going this way or that way. And even beyond that, we may find a way so that we can use the brain. The easiest way is not to use the brain. And if we don't be bothered by the brain, then you have peace. So when we breathe in and breathe out, listen to the wind, leaves, making noise, or feel the sun, warmth on the skin, and a healthy leg, or foot without any pain, but also being comfortable in hammock, you just be as it is. Just be. That's the eternal home. Like a floating on the water, or I often say, riding the wave of the universe. Or melting into the nature. Why is it eternal home? Because that's how we came on this earth. At the beginning, there's no word, like in the case of Garden of Eden. But as soon as we learn to use words and logic, good and bad, right and wrong, beautiful and ugly, that helps us in a way. But it's like a two-edged sword. If you don't have it, you may feel stressed or miserable. When I was young, I could feel that ups and downs of emotion can be like a wave, and at the center, or the medium at the center is stable, but emotion goes up and down. Overall, it settles at the medium, at the center. So it's like a middle way. If you know the middle, and if you are joyful, it's because you escaped unjoyful situation. Over time, your joyful situation would dissipate and become at the center, middle way, or it can go worse. Like my case of computer program. Sometimes it may look like it's going to last forever, or the situation getting worse. But if I think back the history of how ups and downs took place, nothing lasts forever. At the peak, joy, or at the bottom, sadness, or suffering. So that's a perspective that we can develop. And have a calmer mind. Not to be swung by the emotion, but have time to just be quiet and calm in our mind. You may say, I just can't have a calm and quiet mind. So you have to let go, even yourself. No ego, no thinking. then you may see the world as if it's the first time, back to the Garden of Eden. So ultimately, we don't need to think in an eternal home. And be as it is. Experience life as it is. Do you hear the wind through the tree branches? Feel of the sun on your leg? Singing of a bird? You may even feel a vibration of your body cells. So let's be happy as we are. Happy in the sense of going with the flow of the universe. Accepting everything as it is. Except there's no one to accept. There's no ego. So just be. I wonder what happened to the computer program. If I don't think, it doesn't exist. I think nature has a way of resolving everything. Well, I said I think. I intuit. I feel. And that's my eternal home. If there's a will, there's a way. The will of the universe. Have a good day, good life.